All right, welcome back to another edition of Full Throttle 100% Pedal to the Metal.
I like
Kyle
that.
68 here, joined with the co-host, the Master Shredder, I got fucking 3 months off. Eroica, what's up,
Let's-
Eroica?
I can't be bothered by you working peasants.
let's-
No, man, everything's good. Everything's good. I'm just, winding down here. I think actually, much to Heil's happiness, I believe my summer vacation will be over in a little less than a week and a half. So, back to the grind for the
Yeah.
Eroica.
And you barely talked to me. You were gardening.
I was gardening. Are you suggesting I gardened all summer?
Yeah, I am.
No, I have kids. I have kids, man.
I met your kids this summer.
I know. We went to a baseball game.
It was a lot of fun. We talked about it,
Yeah.
and then our last podcast thread turned into about baseball.
Yeah. Heil's met him too, and you know what? But my kids are still living after meeting Animal and Heil. So for System Wars out there, gentle giants, these two guys.
Well, we're gonna be. This is Animal Mother, by the way. Well, speaking of meeting again, we're going to Comic. Well, minus Heil, because
I'll go next year.
he
Alright.
Heil babied out this
I'm gonna
year.
hold him to that. He said it.
Yeah, Eroica and I are once again. We're hitting the Comic-Con scene. All the hot babes.
Yeah, I'm excited to go back and check things out. It'll be a new crop of games, I'm sure, to see early. Last year, if I remember correctly,
Nintendo.
the
Man.
the Nintendo booth last year was awesome, and the Watch Dogs booth sucked. That's how I remember it.
Well, we saw that stupid presentation.
Yeah, it sucked. It was horrible.
Okay.
It's almost as bad as the game itself.
Man,
All right, we don't want to talk about Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs. What like a? I have it and I kind of liked it, but I kind of hate it.
Yeah.
Like it's just one of those games where you're like, yeah, this is okay, and then like a little bit later, you're like, this kind of sucks.
Yeah, it kind of sucks, and it was tough to get through, so I just didn't bother. There was so many other great games out there, like I don't know, maybe like 15 indie games I can count off the top of my head that were better than the one fucking Watch Dogs game that cost about as much as all those 15 indie games put together. So that's the way I look at it. But anyways, Heil, what are you playing right now?
I'm still playing Watch Dogs. Funny enough.
Are you like embedded in it? Or are you, I mean, how far are you into it?
Yeah, I started playing again because I was on a vacation kind of with the kids and whatnot, so I stopped and riding a lot. Still riding a lot.
Nice.
Summer I don't play as much video games as I do in the winter time because I'm not into winter type sports activities. But anyway, so I'm still trying to get through Act 1.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Well,
It's not a long game. Let's stop talking about Watch Dogs.
Well, no, I'm asking.
No, I'm saying I'm playing that, and that's about all I'm going to play. And then I'm waiting. I think I'm going to pick up Diablo next week.
Nice.
You're gonna pick up Diablo?
Diablo for PS4.
Diablo on PS3 wasn't bad. Like it's a good couch co-op game for like if you want to play with kids or friends. Like it surprisingly worked well. And
Is Diablo? I'm gonna say this, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but I have never played Diablo.
Diablo, do you play Torchlight?
Yeah, you played Torchlight.
I've played Torchlight. Yeah.
It's like almost like a better Torchlight.
More
like
polished.
A very well polished Torchlight.
But like I could play that game with my kids.
Well, I mean, depends.
Yeah,
on
your kids would pick it up because they're good at.
But it's also kind of violent. That's the only Torchlight is whimsical. Diablo's like zombies and guts and demon heads and.
Yeah, we don't really do the M-rated stuff yet, but
it's T-rated, but.
We played the Sorcerer game. What's that on PS3? What's that?
Sorcerer game.
The Sorcerer.
The one that we got.
Oh, Dragon's Crown.
Dragon's Crown.
Dragon's Crown.
That's rated M.
Is that rated M?
You know the sorceress with the big boobs hanging? I don't know.
My youngest son, that's his favorite character because of the boobs.
What was I gonna say is because Diablo took away most of the Diablo 3 took away most of the. It's like what Mass Effect did between 1 and 2. They took away most of the. You get upgraded, but it auto distributes your points. You have skills you can pick up, but as far as your like 10 to 15, whatever it is, strengths and stuff like that, that's automatically done for you. So Then you'd
Yeah,
have to pick up gear, which is they give you green if it's better than what you currently have, and then what special skills they want. So yeah, they could easily get it. I mean, it would be
Nice.
piece of cake for those two.
Yeah.
the way they simplified it with the patch in Loot 2.0 and Reaper of Souls, it makes it very easy. It's like green. If your numbers go up, that's the gear you want.
Mm.
For very simple players. I mean, it goes well beyond that into the stats. But green goes up, red goes down. You get the gist of it.
Yeah, they'd pick it up easy. So
Yeah.
anyway, we can move on to what I plan playing. I'm also very interested in Metro Deluxe, or what is it called?
Metro Redux.
Redux.
Nice.
So that's the 2 games, $50. So we'll see. What about you, Eroica?
At the laundry list, it goes on and on in the summer of Eroica.
Just Rogue Legacy.
Well, Rogue, I've put in, I want to say, almost 30 hours into Rogue Legacy since it's launched. I've maxed the game out. I beat the game. I did the New Game Plus. I did the New Game Plus 2, and I just finished New Game Plus 3. So I've played through the game from beginning to end 3 times. I've completely maxed my character out. The only thing I have left to do is they have these special, just if you're a glutton for punishment, they have
Bosses.
the bosses. Yeah, they basically set you up they call them like super bosses. So it's the same boss, but you start with like 100 health, and you're like a level 0, and they're like a level 172, and you have to basically maneuver your way around this boss before it kills you. So the bosses are tough enough as it is, but when you play the super bosses, it's like let me put it to you this way. I have a completely maxed out character, not that it matters, but it's proof of how much I've actually played this game. I can't get more than half the energy away from
Neo Kadir.
Yeah, the first boss.
He's so difficult.
Yeah.
And I'm only level 64.
Yeah. I'm a level 375, or no, I might have hit level 400. But yeah, I've maxed the game out.
I beat that asshole Ponce de Leon.
Yeah, he's pretty dope.
He gave me a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, the one in hell is the worst. I can't think of his name. Not Necromancer, something I forget. But anyways, the game is really tight. I really enjoyed it. But other than that, and I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but I'm playing the second half of Muramasa Rebirth. I'm playing The Last of Us Remastered. I am playing Uncharted Golden Abyss, which is better than Uncharted 3. I am playing let me think. Proteus. I'm playing a whole bunch of games. Sonic Kart. Whole bunch of games on the Vita. I'm going back and forth, and I got to tell you this before we go to Animal. Champ and I have been having this like little side battle on the leaderboards. Him, Champ, and Get Your Yayas Out, who we know as Run Daz on our PSN account. Have been playing Resogun and trying to top each other's scores. Now, no one's going to touch Run Daz because he's up over 87 million.
Damn.
But Champ just went over my score with 54 million, and I was sitting at 47 million. I got back from vacation, I popped Resogun in, and for the first time ever, I played from the very beginning to the very end of the game, and I got like 5 trophies for doing that. It was the weirdest thing, like a whole mess of trophies just kept popping up for beating the entire game on one run. The problem is that when I beat the final boss of the game, I had 52 million points, and I wasn't like, I can't keep making the score go up. So I told Champ, I said he dodged a bullet on that one. So, but it's pretty cool. It's cool when you got a buddy that's like wants to like keep pushing on the leaderboard because it makes you pick up the controller and play it again. But Resogun is still as much badass as you can possibly imagine. Love it. So, Animal, what are you playing?
I'm literally playing Battlefield 4 right now. Yeah, I'm playing Battlefield 4, Dragon's Teeth. It's okay. Nice. I feel like one of the only people we may know that has stuck around with Battlefield. I went on vacation actually, so I didn't play a lot. I was a lot of portable gaming. Luckily, Rogue Legacy came out the day I left.
Mm-hmm.
So I played a lot of that on my vacation.
That's a great game to travel.
And we took a road trip, so it took us.
That's what I mean.
Took us like 15 hours to get to Nashville. I drove like the first 7.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, she drove the remaining 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Like, just sitting in the back playing Rogue Legacy was really great. I threw on Metal Gear Solid, and I threw the HD collection in my Vita before I left.
Nice.
So I beat Metal Gear Solid before I left for vacation. I beat Metal Gear Solid 2 on vacation, and I'm going to beat Metal Gear Solid 3 tonight. So I guess I'm going through that again. And luckily, while I was away, you know what I'm confused about? When did hotels give away, like, when did hotels get rid of, like, good continental breakfast in exchange for Wi-Fi? Seems like most hotels I stayed at, I went on a 2-week road trip across the U.S., hotels here, there, wherever. And it's just like, they're like, hey, we don't have breakfast, but here's free Wi-Fi.
Well,
you're like, thanks.
So I'm assuming then, based on the way your tone is, that you would rather have the continental breakfast over the Wi-Fi.
Hell yeah, bacon.
All right, okay,
and
somehow the best Belgian waffles you'll ever have in those little make-it-yourself machines.
Oh, they're so good.
They're so good. They're so good.
You know what my thing is now? Every state I want to go to, because the last place I visited was Savannah, Georgia. They had a peach logo on the waffle machine. And when I went to Texas last year, the waffles were in the shape of Texas.
Oh, cool.
So I want to get a waffle picture in all 50 states of the state waffles.
That is something to behold, Animal.
That's a fat man's dream.
Yeah, we wish you well in your journey.
Yeah, I'm seriously. by the time I'm 50, I'm gonna have a state picture with every waffle.
Wow.
I know.
I always said that by the time I was 50, I would have gone to every Major League Baseball park, but I never really considered a waffle in every state.
well, you still got time. What are you? You got like 15 years left.
Yeah, I'm getting old.
But luckily, the hotels and their free Wi-Fi. We talked about that Vita last podcast, man. That Vita is a fucking machine.
It's badass.
I downloaded, while I was away, I downloaded Dragon's Crown.
Yep.
I downloaded Proteus. I downloaded Metrico.
Yep.
And there was one more game they gave away, wasn't there?
Yeah, Fez. No, not Fez.
Fez. Yeah, it was Fez.
PS4?
No, Fez was PS3, PS4, and Vita.
Oh, it's cross. Okay.
Yeah, so I downloaded Fez. I started playing that. Man, Dragon's Crown is really tight, fun game.
Wicked good.
It's really good. I have like a level 20 barbarian with big boobs.
I put 40 hours into that game the week it came out.
Really?
Yeah, really, really sad.
Oh my god.
And I give Heil all the credit on that, because he's the one that's like, dude, you got to check this game out. He had been following it forever.
It's a tight game. It's a hard game.
Ends.
Yeah,
it's a hard game.
Yeah. Yeah, it has its moments. The last boss is definitely not cheap. I mean, with a bunch of guys, you have no problem getting past them. But
I like that system because I didn't realize that you really needed a crew to roll with.
Yeah.
Whether it be at your actual real life friends, which I have none, or real life friends, or that they have the skeleton drops.
Right.
So one cool thing Dragon's Crown does is it drops skeletons all throughout the dungeons you visit, and you can pay a fee to resurrect them, and you can bring them on your missions with you. And I was like, that's really cool. It's a tight game. I just wish loot was a little more like.
Yeah, loot. I'm trying to remember. You really, as you start progressing and leveling up, you start getting a lot more. Because the game is set up. I don't remember specifically, but I want to say it's 7 unique worlds, and then there's 2 paths within each of those 7 levels. So, your first time through, you go the easy route, which is up to like a level 25. And then the second time through, you do the tougher route, which is like up to like a level 40 or 50 or whatever. I'm throwing arbitrary numbers out there, but I think you get my point. So as you go through it, I noticed my playthrough that you start getting S and A weapons as you progress. I mean, naturally you would anyways, but you do start ramping up with some of the better loot as the game goes on. But you're right, there is kind of a dry period where you're not getting much.
In the beginning, yeah, especially like I have like a level 12 or 13.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Amazon, not Barbarian.
Yep.
So
Did the elf. I like the elf.
I have another elf who's like level 4 or 5, but the Vita's so nifty. It was just I was just playing stuff on it. Like the Vita has really become a main gaming machine for me.
It's Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
in this dry period.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we're going to talk about it soon, but like, it's such a bizarre thing because, like, we're going to talk about this a little more in depth, but like, you know, Sony just sold through to 10 million customers as they announced at Gamescom. Like, if they sold 10 million, I don't know where I'm going with this. It's the Vita is a good supplement for this dry period, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Regardless of how you paint the system, whether it's like, oh, it's this powerful system that's just like it has no games. I mean, Sony gave up on first party, but I mean, for crying out loud, it's just it's just like it's really good. It has a really great catalog of games that you can play. I mean, granted, they're ports. Like Metal Gear Solid HD Collection has some slowdowns and cutscenes, but otherwise, I mean, the games are running really well. They're running as well as they would on PS2.
Yeah, and it's the functionality of the Vita is the thing that still gets me. And I know that, some people might say, well, you can't really consider it a great console if it doesn't have like great standalone built for this piece of hardware type of a catalog. And while I think in the past that might be true, for me, the thing that stands out is the functionality. Like, for example, my kids and I before bed last night, I said, guys, let's go downstairs and play this new game, Towerfall, I got. Because I downloaded Towerfall last month.
Towerfall, yeah.
So we start the game up. Now, I have two PS4 controllers. So what I do is I take my Vita, I connect the Vita directly to the PS4, and then I sign the other two controllers into the PS4. So we play a 3-player simultaneous game with the Vita being used as my third controller. And I'm
Brilliant.
like, these are the things that like I love with the technology that Sony did with the Vita. It's the remote play, it's the third controller. Like right there, it takes $50. Or is it $60 for the price of a controller?
Yeah, it takes $60 away.
Right. So when you buy a Vita for $200, you're really buying a $140 Vita, and it comes with a free $60 controller. Do you know what I'm saying? Like there's all these like little perks to owning the Vita and getting the free games every month and having the cross play and the cross buy and like all the other little things. And you guys have known me as historically not being one to give Sony credit at the drop of a hat, but like this is the technology that like I want to see developed going forward. I don't care about motion controls and VR helmets.
It's future technology. That's
right.
what it is. That is the cross compatibility between a handheld and the console. Its parent. It's literally a parent-child relationship that can't be denied. Like it can't be really like scoffed upon.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the Vita's a commercial failure and a critical failure, but this is. I think people are gonna laugh at me. I think this is really like it's innovative. It's really an innovative platform. I mean, like ever since PS Plus, I got PS Plus. The only game I bought to play with you, ironically, that we've never played, is Borderlands 2. Like that's the last game I bought for my Vita.
Yeah.
Everything else I've gotten for free.
Mm-hmm. Like, and I think that's a similar story
or
for
on
everybody.
sale on sale. Like it's amazing.
Right. And I'm gonna play Persona 4 next. So just
get ready. That's a long game.
Yeah. That's what Charizard said. He's like 80 hours. You got to be ready for about 80 hours.
Yeah, at least 80 hours.
Yeah.
You can go longer.
Yeah.
So should we talk about the big news this week? Gamescom.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sony won it. Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Well, you were about to say, well, I know some people, I hound Sony, but this is going to be the Sony dick sucking podcast.
But why? How can you? No.
See, here we go.
Why are we sucking Sony's dick? I don't get it.
Because they won Gamescom.
No.
First off, you can't say they. You
Let's
can't
go, Eroica.
You can't say they won
if
you don't know the name of the event, Heil. Sorry.
I said Gamescom too. So
no, Heil said Gamerscom. You're saying Gamescon. It's Gamescom.
GC. We'll say GC.
GC. I think. Well, hold on. Let me pull up Microsoft's presentation here.
Yeah, I got the thing.
While I think Microsoft had a bigger I think they had the hottest news item out of the conference. I think Sony.
What was it? It kills you so much you can't even tell our listeners what the big announcement was.
It was Well, I have an Xbox One. Um, hold on, I'm just looking it up. Microsoft Gamescom.
Tomb Raider.
It was Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider. Rise of the Tomb Raider is.
A multi-plat to
Uh,
begin with, and then timed multi-plat on top of that.
yeah, it's a timed multi-plat.
It's a multi-plat to begin with. It's coming out for 2 platforms,
so it's a timed exclusive. Now, my only I don't really have a gripe with Microsoft doing that. I mean, it's fine. They can throw money at whatever they want. They're a company,
Right.
and it's business. That's how you get people to attract to your platform. But like, it's like, you know what it is? Like, Phil Spencer played a very smart move. I think he saw what would have happened. Like, it's smart. It's very smart on Microsoft's behalf that they sucked this up for a holiday 2015. I think it's very smart that Phil Spencer played it really cool. I think had Microsoft bought rights to the IP or something along those lines, there would have, like, it would have been a really detrimental PR blow to Microsoft. I think there was a bit of a PR blow to Microsoft via Rise of the Tomb Raider, because you have loyal fans who have, like, heralded this series for what is it, like 2 decades now?
Yeah.
And it's just like, there's Crystal Dynamics rubbing salt in the wound, saying, "Well, hey, like, Rise of the Tomb, like, you can still play Legend, Lara Croft and the Guardian of Osiris."
Yeah.
The top-down game was cool. Don't get me wrong, but to me, that's like rubbing salt in the wounds of long-time fans. Like saying, like, "Hey, we kind of sold out, and you can still play this game though if you don't want to buy an Xbox One."
I disagree with you totally. I do. I disagree. I think
I know we had this discussion the other day.
Yeah, well, I and I'm not to get in a long drawn out thing, but I think that
No, do it.
well, they're making a game. I mean, we're talking. Square Enix has gone on record saying that the Tomb Raider reboot was a disappointment to them financially.
Yes, Square Enix is also fucking out of their mind.
Yeah, but that's a given, and they do weird, crazy things like continue to make Final Fantasy games when.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna
add ones at that, but the point is that Crystal Dynamics has every right to continue to make that franchise, that and to do something with it, and to try their very, very hardest to put out a quality product that gets them makes profit for their parent company or their publisher company and Square Enix and things like that. But if they're getting publicly criticized, we don't know what the deal was, that the specific monetary deal that Microsoft made with Square. So with that said, I don't know how much profit Square Enix made off of the original Tomb Raider reboot, because it can't be much if they're talking about how it was a disappointment sales-wise with 5 million sales. And I know they've gone on record saying that the biggest thing
sold 6.5 total.
Right.
The sales came at a turbulent time after. See, the problem is, it's not that Tomb Raider wasn't a success. It's that Square fucking had this huge loss, and that's what that was the straw that broke the camel's back for Square. That was the one where they're like, "Well, Tomb Raider is a commercial failure because we took a big loss, and it didn't make the money back." They thought it was going to sell 5 to 6 million units in 1 month. Jeff?
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. Like, no game does that unless you're Halo, Gears, or Grand Theft Auto, or Call of Duty.
The frustration coming from Square, and I don't have a crystal ball, but from the articles that I've read and hearing the publications come out with these comments that they've made, we're talking a year ago now, one of the things that they were irritated about with Crystal Dynamics was the fact that the development cycle was too long. They don't want their customers. Square's gone on record saying that they don't want their customers to have to wait 2 years or a year and a half after making an announcement on a game. It not only costs them more money, but it's more resources. It takes up time. It slows the process down. And ultimately, I think that part of their frustration was not just in the fact that they probably didn't make as much money and sell as many copies as they would have liked to off the reboot, but they also spent an exorbitant amount of money to get to where they got to with the game.
But the game's not exclusive. Then Microsoft is just paying for a game to be developed for PC and PlayStation 4 now then.
So
what's the point of that deal? Now Microsoft's pissing away money making a game for my PS4 and my PC.
All right.
Like what's the point?
So this is the point. I want to hear Heil's take on this too. The point is this. Let's say that the game and I'm just going to throw round numbers. I have no idea what the development cost for the Tomb Raider reboot. Let's say it cost $50 million.
I'm reading here that a game like
that.
Tomb Raider with a budget approaching $100 million needs to sell an extraordinary. See, this is what's
right.
Some games industry discussed last year. Yeah, they said probably $100 million.
Okay, so let's look at it now. Let's put ourselves in Square Enix's shoes, because this is where it gets interesting. If you're Square Enix and you just spent $100 million to make a game that didn't sell, the bottom line was that maybe the juice wasn't 100% totally worth the squeeze on what they put into making the Tomb Raider reboot, and they're a little bit disappointed.
But it was.
Maybe.
They came out discussing that they made a profit on the game.
Okay, but given all that. Okay, they go into now a new Tomb Raider game and say, how do we ramp things up? Well, first thing is that we would all agree that this game is going to ultimately be multiplat. Now, has multiplat been confirmed to be console multiplat or just...
No, it's a timed exclusive. So that means holiday 2015, only on the Xbox One.
June of 2016.
And 360.
And 360.
And 360, yeah.
So
June of
20 right away.
Right. So June of 2016, it'll be PS4, PC. Is that what we're anticipating? Possibly
Wii U? Easily by June, at latest December.
Okay. All right. Cool. So,
but this is all speculation. This isn't happening. But with the way things have gone in the past, it's a very fair assumption that we make that Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, will be out on PlayStation 4 and PC within some amount of time.
So let's say that Square Enix, after they spent the money on developing the game and also marketing the game, is that considered part of the development cost, or is that an added thing?
Can you ask the question again?
The advertising for the game. Does that?
Well, that goes into development costs.
Okay. So let's say $100 million.
They usually roll that into the production numbers.
Okay. So they spent $100 million to develop the reboot, and let's say that it makes back $150 million. So they made a $50 million profit.
Yeah.
Now let's say that they make this new game. They cut costs to $75 million. All right, because they don't feel like they want to put in the same amount of. I'm just throwing a number out there. And let's say Microsoft, for this timed exclusivity deal, says we'll give you $25 million to keep it exclusive, okay, for a 6-month period. Doesn't that, when you do the math, already add up to Square Enix has already made half the profit before the game has even come out? That they did off the reboot, and the game is still going to be on PS4, and it's still going to be on PC, and it might be on Wii U. It's just going to be this window. Are gamers that impatient? Are they that self-entitled that they think that this game, because they've owned a PlayStation their whole life, damn you, Crystal Dynamics.
But it's not PlayStation owners, though. It's fans.
But fans have every opportunity to go buy the fucking game. Buy the game.
Yeah, but they don't have every opportunity to go buy the game. Because now they have to buy the big longtime fans. If they haven't bought into next generation yet, now they have to pay a $400 premium on top of that to buy into Tomb Raider.
So when I
Or get the 360 version.
Or get the 360 version.
So when I had the N64 and it came out on the Sega I believe is that true? Tomb Raider originally debuted, or no, it was originally developed for the Sega Saturn,
and then it came out on
and
PlayStation.
it came out on PlayStation. So I had to, at one point, to jump into Tomb Raider, I would have had to buy another. I mean, there was a period of time where Tomb Raider was
but that period of time is over. It's not like that anymore. Like it's not. The world has changed, and we talked about the world has changed, bro. No, we talked about
the world's changed.
No, we talked about this.
Yeah.
It's nice that Microsoft is doing this. Like, I have no qualms about it. Like, I'm 100% fine. It's Microsoft's money. They have to sell the console. So, and it's a system war. They have to sell consoles.
Yeah, they dug for a game that not only has a pre-existing franchise with success, but a pre-existing fan base that's pretty large. It's coming off of success of its previous game, and the other big nail in the coffin. Well, I won't say nail in the coffin because that doesn't make any sense. But the other big perk is that it's a game that's going to directly compete with Uncharted. And
that's stupid if you think that. Dude, that's a really ballsy move. Like, that's so ballsy. Like, all right. Let's talk about Microsoft real quick. Microsoft. Let's talk about their Gamescom. They, like I said, they had a pretty solid Gamescom. Rise of the Tomb Raider console exclusive, timed exclusive, Christmas 2015. Xbox One is going to be getting some PS3 features such as DLNA, USB playback, boot to TV, and an updated friend section, which is nice. They offered some bundles, Sunset Overdrive, and a Call of Duty Advanced Warfighter bundle for $500 with 1 terabyte. I think that's kind of silly, considering you can, with what is it? There's an update coming out this year that's going to allow you to plug in USB storage.
Yep.
It's kind of silly that you'd up the ante. Like when I mean, people know what hard drives cost. Hard drives don't cost $100 extra.
Right.
That's $50, $60 at most. But let's see what else. Halo Guardians beta, December 29th. Fable Legends beta, October 16th. Evolve got delayed. That was some pretty big news, I think.
Yeah, what did it get delayed to?
2015.
Whoa.
Yeah, gaming is still being pushed back. We got that bet going on Far Cry 4. So
that's true.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed for that one. That's $20.
Yeah.
And digital preloading begins with Forza Horizon 2 and FIFA 15.
So that's what Microsoft presented?
That's what I have in a CNET article here. Overall, it seems like it was very parallel to their E3 minus a few new IPs.
Yeah.
Some surprise announcements. Some firmware stuff that's like, hey, guys, we're still improving this. And that's that. I mean, Microsoft has been doing they've been doing better.
Yeah.
But I think the overall question we have to ask coming out of Gamescom, this wasn't Gamescom news, but it happened during the week of Gamescom. Rise is coming to PC. You're going to be able to play it on your PC.
Yeah.
While not too good a game, the question is, what kind of deals were these when they, between Capcom and Crytek,
right,
for Rise and Dead Rising 3, where these games were allowed to jump ship
right,
less than a year after the console debuted.
Isn't that, Heil, isn't that the most glaring thing about Xbox gaming that frustrates you as a gamer, that there is pretty much a given that whenever they announce some type of an exclusive, that it's not going to stay exclusive outside of 4 franchises?
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, last gen proved it, and this gen's starting off that way with Dead Rising as well. So, Which, you know, with Tomb Raider, I'm not going to wait a year to play that. So since I already have both the
See,
360
Animal.
and X1, I'll play it on the X1.
Well, because he already has one, he doesn't have to buy in. I
Yeah,
have
so-
an X1 too.
There's there right now. If you compare right now to last generation, right? We sold last generation. We saw 300 million consoles sell. Right.
Mhm.
Right. Right now, 20 million consoles have sold.
All
So-
right, I'm gonna tell you something too.
Well, that's why the 360 is coming out right away, because they're banking on the majority of sales coming from that big, huge install base.
Can I tell you something else
Right.
too? It's fucking next generation. We're almost a year in. 2 years into next generation, I don't need a fucking Xbox 360 game. I don't need a cross-generational game.
Now you're zipping the
Two-
yeah.
2 years into the cycle.
Yep.
That's going to degrade Rise of the Tomb Raider,
Mhm.
and that's only going to make it better on the other platforms come time when it finally releases on them.
Yeah. I mean,
At least,
would imagine- I would
at
imagine
least some,
that's-
at least some better tricks.
right. Sure.
Maybe some better lighting,
Yep.
some better shadows, maybe better frame rate. I don't know.
You'll probably get some DLC packaged in.
Yeah,
when-
you'll probably
when
get the
it hits.
DLC packaged in.
Right.
But otherwise, holiday 2015, I don't need a cross-generational game. Plain and simple.
I agree with that.
This should have been coming out for Xbox One only, and it's gonna hurt the game in the long run.
Yeah.
It's gonna hurt the game.
Yeah, the cross generational thing is probably the worst trend I'm seeing coming out of. I mean, not that games are rushing out in any way, shape, or form, anyways. But if we had games that were developed strictly for the next gen consoles, games like Watch Dogs, you know, that looked and ran as smooth as games that were noticeably better in the graphic department or maybe the performance department, like a infamous Second Son. You know, how much of a difference would that make in our gameplay experience this early on? Because I got to be honest with you, as far as retail games go, there's not a whole lot of a lot of memorable experiences so far in next gen gaming.
There's almost nothing. It's almost a wasteland.
Yeah.
It's almost a wasteland. And you know,
I disagree, but you guys are fucking Xbots, so what do you know?
Well, no, I mean, what is it, High? Like, what game has come out strictly for next gen gaming that has really like knocked your socks off? I can't say that I've played one. I mean, like Infamous was an awesome game. I can't wait to play the
Hell
DLC.
yeah.
but it was stuck in last gen mechanics.
Well, and it's a pretty game.
What
and
the
all that,
fuck
but
is
it was-
last gen mechanics?
No, it's built on the ideas of last generation gaming. I get it. It didn't go much farther beyond Gen 7 ideas, but if at all. But like the game was still like you could tell that it was kind of shallow in what
It was a game.
Short.
It was a game stuck in its time.
Maybe. Look at that image we get to watch on the screen.
Battlefield.
Animal in a tank top playing Battlefield.
Oh, nip slip.
Oh. All right. So that was gross. So
Sony kind of did it. Sony kind of did it too with Ninja Theory's new game. No one's really talking about that, but it's coming to PlayStation first. Later, it's coming out. So they paid Ninja Theory some money for Helldiver, which is the
Hell Sword.
Huh? It's not Hellsword.
Helldivers is the guys from.
No, it's called Hell. It's called Hellblade. I'm sorry.
Hellblade. That's it.
All
Yeah,
right,
it's
so I don't think it's bad that people pay like that. That's what causes people to flock to your systems.
Right.
I think the dumber decision that Microsoft made was like, or Crystal Dynamics made was like, hey, let's make this cross-gen. Like it's so stupid. It's so frustrating to know that like there's only there's only one really next gen game coming out this fall, right? Assassin's Creed Unity.
Yeah.
Is that it? Is that the only one
I
coming
think-
out?
Well, I mean, as far as I know, trying to think off the top of my head. Yeah, I think you're right.
I mean,
Well-
Destiny's cross gen.
well, Forza Horizon 2 will come out. Sunset Overdrive will come out.
But oh yeah,
What about Far Cry? Is Far Cry?
Far Cry's cross gen. Forza Horizon 2's cross gen. Sunset Overdrive is not cross gen. I'm looking forward to that.
Drive Club. Oh yeah.
Drive
Oh,
Club's
that's
coming
good.
out.
What about is Dragon Age? Is that on 360?
No, that's not. That's all next gen.
Oh, that's next gen.
Is Shadow? Do we know? Is Shadow of Mordor?
That's on everything.
That's on everything.
That's on everything.
Yeah, and then The Witcher 3 is going to be just next gen.
Yeah.
Does that move into 25? Yeah, that got moved.
That moved into February or March.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, that teeters like a fine line to be like, hey, we're next gen, and it's just like Square Enix is bringing Sleeping Dogs to next gen, and it's just like, it's like what, like
Yeah.
what are you doing? Like, Sleeping Dogs is a lot of fun,
Right.
and it's a good opportunity for people that missed it.
Yeah, but that shit's got to launch at $19.99. My God, I can't believe
$30 tops with all the DLC.
Sure. If
I-
they're
When
throwing
does Phantom Pain come out? Is that this year?
Next year.
Next year? Not much then.
But then Phantom Pain is coming out on everything. It's just like Blabadon had a
Batman.
That's next year though.
Yep, it's only next gen.
Blabadon.
They can't ignore that many. They can't ignore that many consoles. You guys, I mean, I wouldn't. 160 million. There ain't no way.
You guys know we live in the day and age now where the technology has gotten to a point where they don't need to ignore those consoles either, so they're just straight up not going to.
Oh,
I know
no,
it's sad because while next gen is here, or current gen is here, it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
Like it certainly, like, I'm playing Battlefield 4 right now, and while some of the stuff like the interface, as you can see, like I can go in and out of the game easily and have all this cool stuff, it doesn't feel like next gen.
Well, maybe we need to stop setting the bar so high when next gen comes out. I mean, Animal, we've had this conversation before, and I think it was you that even said that eventually we're going to hit I forget how you phrased it, but we're going to hit a point of singularity where games are not improving that much anymore. Maybe, our expectations of gens past are way too over the top compared to how much room they have and ideas they have to work with at this point. I mean,
but the before we get too far off topic, let me answer this question. Like, the thing is, like, there is a technological singularity where you can't improve things, but like, I feel like at least in games, like graphically and AI wise, like we can improve them. Like, I feel like it's kind of lazy design. I feel like it kind of feels like everyone's a little afraid to move on because the numbers, like, there are 20 million consoles out there, but it feels like everyone's like, everything was so good. Like, we were in the golden age last gen, and everyone was like, we can't leave this behind. Like, they're still holding on to a past that they can't hold on to forever.
Right.
And that raises my next question about Sony and Gamescom. If we're complaining about a lack of games now, and I'm playing Battlefield 4 on my PS4, and granted it's on PS3 or whatever. If Sony doesn't have any AAA titles out now, Uncharted, Bloodborne, Tearaway, the Media Molecule games, and it sold through 10 million in less than in 12 months?
9 months.
9 months
so far.
9 months. What the fuck is gonna happen when the games finally start to drop? It's gonna be insane.
Yeah.
Like,
What do you guys think? Let's keep going with Sony's. I think it's going to be insane too.
Gamescom, and Sony's yeah. So, and this is one of the things. This is where, what was the one thing we focused on Microsoft's Gamescom conference, Jeff?
I don't remember. You mean in our conversation yesterday when I was getting my registration sticker and an oil change at Jiffy Lube?
I mean, no, I literally mean just right now. What was the big highlight we talked about their Gamescom?
It was, Tomb Raider.
Okay, you want to hear what Sony did? Sony announced Hellblade.
Mm-hmm.
They announced DayZ coming to PS4. They announced the Rayman and Beyond Good and Evil creators are creating a new IP, open world IP called Wild, only for PS4. Your favorite studio, what is it? Horse Games?
Whores games?
No, I said horse.
House Marquee.
Oh, House
House
Marquee.
House Marquee Games is
Yeah.
coming out with Alien Nation.
Yep.
Tearaway Unfolded is coming in to PS4.
Yeah, they nailed it there. I mean, I watched last night before bed. Truth be told, I've only read about Microsoft. I haven't actually seen anything from it yet. In fact, IGN's clip that they put up that I was watching was dead. So I did watch the Sony one last night, and I was talking with Charizard this morning. He thought that Sony kind of fumbled the ball, but my impression of it was that I was kind of jacked. They showed a lot of great stuff.
That's far from fumbling the ball from what they did.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody's kind of got their own perception of it, but like,
Yeah,
I didn't think Sony showed anything that looked like a killer app or system seller or any megatons or anything like that. I can see why.
You want to talk about Megaton? We'll get to that in a second.
Well, I did think that some of the features that I jumped for joy when I saw that they're doing the feature that they promised back when they announced the PS4 with
Share
the whole
play.
the share play where you can let a friend take over even if the friend doesn't own the game. I think that is pretty fucking rad. They let, what is it, 2 hours of gameplay? They'll allow anyone on your friends list up to 2 hours of gameplay
A day,
No, I think
just on the game.
on the game itself. But still, I mean, 2 hours of gameplay. If you're like, hey, I got this game, you should try it. I'm gonna be like, yeah, man, I'm gonna piggyback off your account and try, whatever the game is, and spend 2 hours with it. That could, set my opinion on whether I want to drop $60 on a highly touted game. You know what I mean? So I think that feature is nails. But like as far as games are concerned. I was cool with what they showed. I thought that it was another round of really, really good stuff. Rhyme, I can't wait to play Rhyme.
Oh yeah, they showed Rhyme. They also showed a revamped Until Dawn, that horror game set in the mountains. It no longer requires the Move controller, which is nice. And
Bloodborne, they showed a new trailer for that. Looks absolutely amazing. That's day one.
Bloodborne.
Bloodborne, Heil? No way.
Yeah.
Come on.
I thought you'd be more excited about Wild 2, since that's the people that made Resogun. Or sorry, Alien Nation. That's people that made Resogun.
Yeah, well, Resogun is genius, and
Resogun, sorry.
Zombie Nation, Dead Nation was average at best.
Yeah, but didn't Dead Nation come out a couple years ago?
See, that I don't know. All I know is that it was one of those free to play. I can look it up if you want to keep playing your game. Dead Nation.
I already got it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Dead Nation's fun on PS3. I got that for free.
Yeah.
PSN.
Dead Nation came out in 2010, dude.
Oh, all right. So I won't beat it up then. Too bad.
Yeah. So like it releasing on PS4 as a PS Plus game, like in 2014.
That looks sweet. We'll have fun with that, Eroica.
It's not too bad. Like to be like, well, this is 2010 game. But I'm sure after Resogun, they go to the forums, they read, reception.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that they'll make Resogun basically. They'll make a more focused Resogun third person-y type thing.
Yeah. Yeah, the game looks badass. I mean, I'm just saying that, like,
when it comes out, you're gonna be like, "Oh, Alien Nation's so good."
Yeah, I love games with pure
Alien Nation. Oh,
it's funny because as I get older, I like, the more games I play, and the way that I see this industry change. And I don't want to get too philosophical, but like, I've come to a point in my life where like I really truly appreciate games that have amazing gameplay. Even more so than games that tell a really good story or a compelling story, like, and that's where games like Resogun or Rogue Legacy or games like that, even
they're tight games that are good in short bursts.
Right, but and even some of the bigger budget, I'll give credit to like games like Dark Souls for being like a really truly a gameplay first model of a game, and I don't know, those are the ones to me that get me to like really be immersed and sunk in. It's rare that I feel like you get the happy medium between the two, where the story and the setting are killer and the gameplay is as cutting edge as, you know, some of those other games. But like, I'm obviously rooting for it. You know, companies like House Marquee are the reasons why I get excited to still turn on my PlayStation 4. I mean, I've dumped so many hours into Resogun, it's not even funny, and for good reason. It's probably the best game on the PlayStation 4. You know, and I say that not putting down any other game, but I mean in reality, I mean that's probably the game I've spent, for me anyways, probably spent the most time playing because it's fucking outstanding. I can't stop playing it.
Oh yeah, PlayStation TV will also launch on November 14th.
Right, at 99
October
bucks,
14th, 99 bucks.
100 bucks.
So what do you guys think of the little teaser, which I haven't downloaded yet, but for the implementation of Silent Hill 2?
That's what. Wait, whoa! Get your fucking facts straight. Big Silent Hill.
The next
fan
Silent
here.
Hill game. Sorry.
Champ won't call me a Silent Hill fan because I like Silent Hill 4. But Champ, fuck you. Silent Hill 4 is a decent Silent Hill game, and he showed me that article. Champ, refer to the article on why Silent Hill 4 is a decent game. And fuck you one more time. No, but all right. Let's talk about what I think is a megaton from Sony's Gamescom. So sometime, what was it, Tuesday? Sometime Tuesday, like every Tuesday, the PlayStation Store gets updated. A Twitch player by Soapy Warpig. She found a new game on the PlayStation Store called PT. Now, nobody knew what this was. Nobody knew what it was. And this is what I have to give credit for Sony. They kind of just release stuff sometimes. They're just like, hey, this is here. And you're like, this is amazing. You know, like Entwined or this PT demo. Soapy Warpig beats the PT demo, and it is revealed to be none other than a Silent Hill game by Hideo Kojima, Guillermo del Toro of Pacific Rim, and The Orphanage, and of what's that other one? Pan's Labyrinth, and starring Norman Reedus of The Walking Dead. Now, if that doesn't scream megaton to you, Sony silently releasing this scary as fuck teaser trailer, playable teaser, this game where it's like an hour to an hour and a half, longer than Ground Zeroes, and not letting anybody know what it is and letting them find out what it is. How amazing is that?
I love it.
That's such a smart marketing move to go, okay, you guys have been developing this thing. Let's get it out on the store. Gamescom is here. Let's see what you guys got. Put it out there, and then let people figure out what it is.
I wouldn't even say Animal. I agree with you 100%. But I won't even say that it was the word I wouldn't use as maybe great marketing practice. I think that something like that could be a great marketing practice, but I think it was total gamer fan service more than it was even a marketing thing.
It was brilliant.
If it was a marketing thing, it would be like Activision saying, yeah, for a limited time, we're gonna let you download, the next Call of Duty game and play the first hour of it in a teaser or whatever, 20 minutes of it in a teaser trailer. Like, I can see companies adopting that and people getting really jazzed about playing like a little taste of it before it comes out.
Smart.
But the fan service, the in touch, fan service with saying like, yeah, we've got this really cool project. We're not going to bog you down at the show with it, but like, check this out when you get a chance. It's already up on the store.
But they didn't even.
Yeah, they didn't even need to say anything.
It was just on the store, and I think they had a trailer at Gamescom.
Yeah.
At the end of the show, but it was on the store before the thing.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Like
I downloaded it.
And that's did you play it at all?
No, I downloaded it from my Vita last night.
It's scary as fuck. Like, it's pretty good. I mean, granted, it's at the end of it, they say the final game will not be like this. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Because it's a bizarre little piece. Like, there are things like it's kind of like reminiscent a little bit of. I don't want to say it's reminiscent, but it has these odd quirks that you would find in GameCube's Eternal Darkness. What is it? Sanity's Requiem or whatever. It's where it's like, you're looking for all these things and you're looping over and over again, and it's genuinely creepy. It's very scary, and it's just it got like I couldn't play it. I played it. I saw the new the new Turtles movie, and I came home. I threw the headphones into my PS4 controller, and I played it, and I couldn't. I was like, I'll have to save this for when it's light out. I was like, I can't do this right now. I said, because I have to go to bed. And I was like, it was genuinely scary. And for it to be a Silent Hill game of all things, like by Hideo Kojima, that they were just like, hey, we're actually doing this. It was really awesome. It was like that's what gets me. Like when they I played Entwined. Did you get Entwined?
I did not.
I bought Entwined. That's a fun little peaceful game, kind of like what is it? Like one of those. What's the name of that game? For fucking, I forgot. Like it's one of those games where you just it's very peaceful. It's very good. It's got
Flower.
Not like Flower. It's more reminiscent of some old games. I forgot. Fuck.
That's all right.
I'll have to look it up. But it's reminiscent. But when they're like, hey, we had this game in development and it's on the store right now. Go get it. Like, have fun. Like for them just to be like, hey, here's a demo, a teaser that's an hour and a half long. Play it. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So amazing. To me, that's a megaton.
Yeah.
Because Kojima's finally breaking away to a new project. I know he helped produce Lords of Shadow, but he had nothing really other to do with it.
Right.
And, for him to finally work on something else and kind of like bolster his creative chops again and flex that's really great. Like he came out and said, listen, where is it? Let me pull up the article here.
We don't know what the whole game is though either. What it's going to come out for? It's because it came out on the video doesn't mean it's for PS4
no. I'm not talking about. I don't care if it's exclusive or not. I'll play it on whatever. But I mean, to me, that's a great practice to have in store. And what Kojima said is, the one thing I can say about Silent Hills, and this is something I've been discussing with Del Toro as well, is that we were originally thinking of a game that would make you pee your pants. But at this point, we've changed our minds. And now we're aiming for a game that will make you shit your pants. And he's very smart about it. This is where I think, like, as batshit crazy as Kojima is, it's good for him to be on a project like Silent Hill. Because he can get as crazy as he fucking wants. This is another great thing. And he goes, one thing that you have to keep in mind is that if a game is too scary, people won't play it. In movies or attractions, if it gets too scary, you just shut your eyes and it'll soon be over. But if it's a game, people will just stop. So that's why there's a limit on how scary you can make a game. But here's where he gets really good. But in this case, we're totally ignoring that.
Oh, wow.
And you know what? If you don't want to keep playing through the game, so be it. We don't care. That's the game we're aiming for. We're aiming for a game that will make you shit your pants. It's really like it's really amazing.
So basically, Heil and I won't play it, and Animal will probably platinum it.
I listen. I know that there's some bad stigmas lying around the Silent Hill series, and before I get too deep, a champ will crucify me for this. Homecoming sucks, plain and simple. Shattered Memories is pretty good for a reimagining, and despite that downpour mostly sucks, I like some of the ideas in the game. Combat's absolutely atrocious, but I like the idea that when it rains, the monsters get more aggressive. I like the idea that there were side quests in the town, and like a couple other things that just made the game like interesting. A little more freaky. I mean, Korn having the main theme song didn't help, but I digress.
Yeah, I think I can speak for Heil to say that Silent Hill is not really a franchise I've gotten into all that much. And to be honest with the genre, I mean, we've talked with Sean. We've had Sean on the cast a few times to talk about horror games and things that he likes and doesn't like about him, and he kind of echoed the same thing about you can't make a game too scary or people just won't play it. So it is kind of exciting. I mean, even though I'm not myself a much of a horror game fan, I like to hear when a developer says, we're going to kind of buck the formula a little bit here, and we're gonna go for it. And if people like it, great. If they don't, too bad. So and the whole, like you said, the whole method of delivering this little playable teaser, which is about an hour long.
Hour and a half.
It's like an hour and a half long. Okay, so I mean,
Yeah.
it's brilliant.
For most people, it would probably take about 2 hours.
Mm. Okay. So and no news for Nintendo at Gamescom, correct?
I don't. Did they have a Gamescom?
I don't
don't
even
know.
think they show up and do anything for that. So
What does Nintendo do anymore? Release a game once every 6 months
I guess.
and say, okay, cool, we're good.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's Nintendo is like kind of on their own island. I mean, Kyle, so you think Sony won?
I really did because I thought the most exclusives and new games I didn't know about.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I mean, I really loved Heavenly Sword.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to see an exclusive. I know it's not going to be because last few games haven't been exclusive, but I'm really looking forward to that. What's the character's name? I'm not going to butcher it, but the chick from
Nariko.
She's the looks like the main protagonist of the next game, or at least that's what the trailer was. So I'm jacked for it. And they really did Enslaved really well, so they had the combat down, I think. I enjoy the games. They're not, I don't know, they're 8-ish type games, and that's fine with me.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the decent Devil May Cry game they made.
Yeah, that's really good too. So they have the combat down. They could do something really fun with her, whereas, Heavenly Sword was great, but the last boss, he was kind of cheap, and then overall the game was pretty short, but I enjoyed it. It was one of the first games that for last gen that made the jaw drop open, like, wow, look what it can do.
Yeah.
As far as the backgrounds and characters and animations and facial expressions. So anyway, I'm looking really forward to that. And then with the other games, we talked about Alien Nation and the dude from what's the other one? Helldiver?
Hellblade.
Not Helldiver.
Hellblade.
Yeah, but there's another one. It is Wild. Sorry, Wild.
Wild.
Okay.
But yeah, Helldiver, is that coming out this year or is that next year?
Helldivers is this year.
Yeah, Helldivers is the Magica developers.
So that looks like it's going to be good. So
yeah, and that's got, just like Magica does, Heil, it's got the friendly fire. You gotta, how we would get caught up blasting each other with this spell. It's good.
I'm sorry I vaporized you.
Yeah. Well, I do have to admit that, I think we got our most chuckles out of that game when we're trying to rip off some awesome spell and Heil ends up just burying a freaking fire beam into the back of my head. But I mean, those games are built around co-op, and so I wish those games well. I love that developer. I think they're awesome. That's a game that actually B-Pool turned us on to. So he's got excellent taste in gaming. Yeah, Animal. What are you? Who are you? Would you give the blue ribbon to?
I think Microsoft had a really solid conference, but I think they played it safe from E3. I got to give it to some new IPs granted DayZ is kind of a fad game. Bringing it over to PS4 is really nice. Also Vanishing of Ethan Carter coming to PS4. Securing these games, announcing new IPs, doing the cool little playable teaser on PlayStation 4 is really cool. I gotta it's cool that Microsoft sucked up Tomb Raider for X amount of time, but my overall thought process on that is, if it's cross-gen, the game will be held back a little bit. And imagine what kind of power is the Xbox 360 going to have in 2015?
Yeah.
What kind of gameplay elements are they going to have to sacrifice to put it on that platform?
Well, it's like what you're saying on built off of that is the idea that Uncharted, if they did secure that game to kind of soften the blow with Uncharted,
it won't. won't.
When you think about the potential, and that's obviously a hypothetical. I mean, I don't know for a fact that Microsoft did that. I'm just looking at games that are coming out over the next year, and I know that they like to go tit for tat, and sometimes, you got to have a good racer, you got to have a good fighter, you got to have a good hack and slash. So, I mean, if Microsoft truly was going after Tomb Raider to kind of, like I said, soften the blow a little bit with Uncharted 4, knowing that that's going to be a really big game coming out, it could work in the opposite direction, where if Uncharted is as polished as Naughty Dog is accustomed to making a game, and it compares and contrasts with a game that's built on last gen tech, or at least built to the limitations of last gen tech, that could actually prove to be something that's even worse for Microsoft in that respect. But I don't know if that's true, if they've thought about it in that depth. But
No, it'd be funny to see what Adobe thinks, because he's a huge Tomb Raider fan who bought the PS4 this gen, just to see what he thinks. If he's going to get it for a 360, or if he's going to bite the bullet to play the better version, because that's a customer right there that's a huge fan of the series.
Yeah.
That I would see that. I can't see him selling for the 360 version, but maybe, I don't know. Say, $500 cheaper, of course, but
yeah.
we gotta ask him that.
Yeah, he's actually a really good example of exactly that, kind of what Animal was touching on with the whole, abandoning a certain fan base. I don't see it like that personally, especially when I know the game is going to be multi-plat. If it was like, yeah, dude, Microsoft bought Crystal Dynamics from, Square Enix, and this game is now 100%, exclusive to Microsoft. That's one story. If the game was just outright bought, third party exclusive, and it's going to stay exclusive, that's where I could see being irritated as a fan. But having a company come in and say, you know what, we really like what you're doing, we like this franchise, we believe in it, and we want to give you a little special place on our platform.
But this game was well, like you said, we don't know the details of the deal. I mean, it did premiere at Microsoft C3,
right.
So can't say much.
Right.
But I feel like Microsoft's not developing it,
Yeah.
they're not footing the bill for development,
right?
And it's they're not publishing it. It's just kind of like,
right. Yeah, it'll be interesting. So yeah, guys, I think it's probably about time that we wrap up. We're going to try to release this cast. I'm going to try to do something a little bit different this week and release them in smaller segments. We're going to try it and see how that goes. Maybe over the course of a couple weeks, maybe release all of it or get it out in some way, shape, or form. But
there's one last thing. There's one. Sony outsold Microsoft again for the NPD, and
just came out.
Last of Us sold the most.
Yep.
As next gen. There's something that was just itching in my brain. Oh, you know what? Real quick, it's like a side thought. I'm gonna make my Xbox One an all digital console. I'm not gonna buy a single disc. The only disc I have, and the only reason I have it, I bought my brother an Xbox One for Christmas, and I bought him Dead Rising 3. So that's the only disc-based game I have installed. Everything else is all digital, unless Quantum Break comes out with a really badass.
Quantum Break. We didn't talk about that once today, and in all honesty, that maybe was the best looking game of the entire show.
Remedy knows how to do it, but unfortunately, like most other third parties, I wouldn't be surprised if Quantum Break makes that jump to PC.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. I think you're wrong. Anyways, let's keep going.
Oh, fuck you. Alan Wake. Quantum Break's not going to come to a PC. Yeah. They recouped, development costs in, 2 days.
Well, hey, man, games, like I said, Microsoft can't lock down legit exclusive games that are going to stay exclusive. And maybe they don't. Maybe the business. I mean, we've talked for Pedal to the Metal has been doing this podcast for like a year and a half now. We have talked end over end when it comes to things that have been brewing in this industry, and the perceptions that we have compared to the perceptions that the companies that make these pieces of hardware may have, and maybe Microsoft just doesn't straight out give a fuck about the exclusive game. It might, for them, be a more lucrative bottom line to simply do these timed exclusives, have 3 or 4 core franchises that separate them from everybody else, and just kind of play with their money in a different way that doesn't involve locking down game franchises for eternity.
Yeah, but that money they're using could be used to fund new IPs.
I agree with you, but maybe that's not the way that their money crunchers, their bean counters look at it. Maybe
their bean counters are fucking stupid. They shouldn't be counting beans. Should be counting money. And they should be fucking being like, "Hey, Phil, you know that a new IP would make you lots of money." Like, why the fuck did they, like, they're bringing back Phantom Dust. Like, I knew what Phantom Dust was. Who the fuck gives a shit about Phantom Dust?
I don't know. If it's a good game, I care about it.
Oh, did you own an original Xbox?
No, I didn't.
Did you play Phantom Dust?
Yeah. Did you, Hyle?
I have not, because I was...
You were a PC guy back then, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't gonna pay for that. Are you talking about what are you talking about? Phantom Dust?
Yeah, Phantom Dust.
The 15-minute game? No, I didn't buy that.
I mean, who knows what? I don't even know what's Phantom Dust.
I don't know.
It's like asking what's Burn Notice.
Yeah, I have the Burger King games.
Oh my god.
Thief King.
Sneak
King. That's it. Oh, Jesus. All right, guys, it's time to wrap up Pedal to the Metal tonight. We want to take a moment and say thank you to everybody who takes the time out of their week to allow our 3 voices into your head. Please do not bill us for psychiatric evaluations and help. We cannot help you with that, but we're glad that you listened to us. Animal, what were you going to say?
If you listen and comment and post on our YouTube, you can win a free copy of Watch Dogs.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, PC?
PC. If you want a free copy of Watch Dogs, go to our YouTube, post on it, and you will be one lucky winner, kinda.
It'll be one person too, and that will be the one lucky person.
If you post, I have to find the card for it.
You still gotta mail me
Wolfenstein. I know. Work's been hectic.
Yeah, it looks like you're pretty busy right now. So anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really busy. Notice that.
Yeah, you want me to go to fucking FedEx at midnight on a Thursday to mail you fucking Wolfenstein?
Go to your local drugstore and just put in the fucking United States Postal Service.
We don't have drugstores like that here in New York, Kyle.
Yes, you do. That little town you do.
No, we don't. Where in my little town were you? Did you stay? Did you just not go home? Did you go, oh, I see what Animal Mother's up to?
I enjoyed a Twister and saw your local game store.
You did see my local game store.
And a Twister.
Twister.
So that was called the lemonade and tea combination?
Oh,
a
mixer.
Mixer, yeah. I want a mixer. You had that black sweater on and fucking pick loafers.
I introduced you guys to a cool drink. Shut up.
Well, anyways, guys, it's time.
Yeah, it is.
Goodbye. Yeah, we're out of things to talk.